Hi everyone, Jennifer here, and welcome to the Daily Connoisseur. In today's video, I am sharing what's for dinner, and I've compiled these recipes all the way back from November to December, and I am sharing them with you now. The focus for today's video is on kid-friendly meals and also nourishing meals for the winter time. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's get started. We're starting off with chicken drumsticks, which is one of my children's favorite meals, and I cooked a spaghetti squash on the side. So with the spaghetti squash, I roasted it, and I will leave all the directions down below. For the chicken drumsticks, I simply put paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper, and this is their favorite. They love this. That's what the spaghetti squash looks like all cooked up. And then I also made some cheesy rice pilaf, and I don't know why I don't have the footage of it on my plate, but there you go. Next, I'm trying something a bit different. I'm making these cheeseburger cups, and I found this recipe on Delish, and I will leave it linked in my corresponding blog post. We regularly eat hamburgers, and I always try to think of different ways to make it so that I don't get tired of it. And this is such a kid-friendly meal. They loved this. So what you do is you take your hamburger buns and you roll them out with a rolling pin. The goal here is to flatten them. You're going to press each hamburger bun into the tin and just have it molded. It's important that you spray the tin with non-stick spray. Now, the recipe calls for ground beef, but we just cooked up hamburger patties and chopped them up, so you could do either one. These turned out just fine. I top each with cheese, and we're going to put these in the oven. This is what they look like when they come out of the oven. And then at this point, you could just customize the burger how you would like to do it. And every child will have something different, but this one's mine, and I like everything on it. So I have some ketchup and mustard here, pickles, that's the best part for me. I also add some sliced tomatoes and avocado. And that's the burger. It is so good. Honestly, I love it. It has all of that umami flavor, and this was a big hit. Okay, so this is a chicken tortilla soup that I just kind of put together because I had some extra meat off of a rotisserie chicken that I wanted to use up. So this is basically the meat from the rotisserie chicken, which probably amounted to about 1.5 cups. It would have been better to have more, but I really did fill it with a lot of vegetables. So I used about 3 carrots, 2 celeries, a can of olives, sliced olives. I would have liked to use rotel, but I didn't have any, so I used diced tomatoes, and I have a ton of those in my prepper pantry. And what else did I use? Corn in here, and about 4 to 5 cups of chicken stock. I also season this with some ranch dressing mix and some taco seasoning. So it's pretty good. It just tastes like a nice hearty chicken tortilla soup. So I'm just going to show you how I serve this for myself. This is lunch today, and you know I like to eat a bigger lunch. So let's try to do this with one hand. I pour it over the tortilla chips here. Let's see if I can, sorry, this is very hard to film. Pour it over the tortilla chips, and I'm gonna make a big mess. And then I'm going to have some more chips and homemade guacamole on the side. This is just a really nourishing fall soup, just easy to make with whatever you have on hand. Also, I'm going to put some chopped cilantro on top. Okay, here is the soup. I topped it with some cheddar cheese and cilantro. We're having some chips and guacamole on the side. So this is just a very hearty, fall dish, even though we have our Christmas tablecloth out. Let's try it. So good. Here's another meal that my children like, and I don't show how I make it, but I wanted to show you my plate. This is some fried fish, and I fried the fish just in the regular way you would, and I can leave my recipe down below. And then I've sauteed some greens here, and I have zucchini and spinach, and when we put Parmesan cheese, salt, and pepper on top, the kids really seem to like it. And then if you look at the potato, what I did there was baked the potato, just as you would a jacket potato or a baked potato. And then I open up the potato, put some butter on it, allow the butter to melt a little bit, and then sprinkle it with seasonal. That's one of our favorite seasonings. And the kids love this dish. They really love it, especially the potato and the fish. Some of them don't like the greens, but we can try, right? So this was a really great hit and a good idea and very comforting during the winter time. All right, this is just a last minute tater tot casserole. So I had already cooked the ground turkey. So I'll cook that in large batches and just freeze it. So I took it out of the freezer, and this is 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, a chopped onion, some peas and carrots, and a little bit of salt and pepper. So I'm going to put some tater tots on top of this right now. See if I can do this with one hand. Oh boy. So I have the frozen tater tots on, and now I'm going to cook this until they're done. And so because the meat was frozen, I put that for 20 minutes in the oven beforehand, just to kind of get it up to speed at 350. So now this is going to go on until it's fully cooked through. I think if it's 400 degrees, it's about 20 minutes, but don't quote me on that. I will have the recipe in my corresponding blog post. This is what it looks like after it comes out of the oven. And the reason why I shared this is because this is such a quick meal to put together, and they always like it. So I'm just going to plate it here. Okay, I'm trying to do this with one hand again, and I got a little man literally slapping my behind. Okay, 1 second. So anyway, I'm trying to do this with one hand so you can see it. And then I'm going to put some parsley on the top for color. Okay, today I'm making a take on beef stroganoff in the slow cooker. So I have about 1 pound of beef stew meat, so it's just broken up into chunks here in the slow cooker. And I'm going to season this with salt, pepper, and garlic and onion powder. I'm not measuring it, but I'm going to aim for about a teaspoon of each. That's the garlic, if I could get that to, let's see. There we go. About a teaspoon of each. Also going to add some minced garlic. Now I'm adding a can of French onion soup. It has a really nice consommé taste to it. You could also use beef consommé. I'm adding 3 cups of beef broth. And that's it. I'm going to put the lid on this, and normally I would cook this on low for 8 hours, but I'm running a bit behind today, so I'm going to cook it on high for about 3.5 to 4 hours. And then once this is cooked, I'm going to add sour cream and Parmesan cheese to it, and we're going to serve this over egg noodles or rice. I haven't decided yet. Before I forget, I completely almost forgot this ingredient. I have some mushrooms here. This is going to make quite a lot. And that's okay because I could actually freeze half of it if it's too much for us, or just, you know, have it for leftovers. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on this. And by the way, I made chocolate chip cookies today, so the smells in this house today are going to be amazing. Okay, it's decidedly louder here, so please excuse the noise, but I have our stroganoff here. And in the last half hour of cooking, add some sour cream. So I'm eyeballing it, but maybe about a half a cup, if this will ever get off the spoon. Okay, sorry, I had to do that off camera. I can't hold the camera and stir in the sour, but there you see the sour cream is in there. And stir the sour cream, and then I'm going to put some Parmesan cheese in as well. You can always add more or less. It'll just vary on how much meat you use and everything like that. So what I'm really going for here is a nice sauce, but nothing too thick because it's just going to drizzle over the rice, and I did decide to have rice tonight. I'm going to let this cook a little bit longer and then we will serve it up. And here we go. I'm not sure what the light is picking up here, but this is the beef stroganoff. It has a lovely gravy over the rice, and I put some extra Parmesan cheese on top. And this will be served with a side salad, very simple one. And bread rolls would be nice too.
Mommy, I want cookies.
I'm throwing in another meal idea for you, and some of my kids really love this one. This is basically a copy or our version of a Chipotle burrito bowl. I have some rice in here, some rotisserie chicken shredded up. I have pinto beans, guacamole, salsa, and spinach, and I've topped it with some red onions. Sorry that my finger is pointing there. So this is really good. I enjoy this a lot. It is very filling, and my kids do like this recipe, and of course you could customize it. Just think of what you like to get in your Chipotle burrito bowl if you go there, and copy that for your home enjoyment. This is an example of a lunch that we will often have because Ben loves to cook steaks. So he seared these steaks on the stove and he finished them off in the oven, and I just marinated them with that Montreal steak seasoning and some olive oil. The salad kit that you see over there is an everything but the bagel seasoning salad kit that I got from Trader Joe's. It was really good. So I always offer the children salad, just a little bit on their plate, and the girls will have a lot, but you know, with the little ones, they just have a little bit. They all love avocado, so I always add that. Don't stare too much at the fries. I burnt them in the air fryer. Those are sweet potato fries. And then I'm serving this with some sweet corn. So this is a meal that they all really like. They'll eat everything and definitely try the salad. For this final meal idea, I made a beef pot pie in the slow cooker, and I concocted this recipe myself, and I have to tell you, this came out so good. So I will try to write down everything that I put in here. I just had this idea last night. I actually made this last night, the day that I'm doing the voiceover. So I had some frozen beef stew meat, you know, the other half of the beef tips that you saw earlier in the video from earlier in the month. So I put that in the slow cooker last night, along with a can of beef consomme and a can of golden mushroom soup, the condensed one. And I put some onions in there as well, and like about 6 garlic cloves because I really like garlic. And this morning when I woke up, the house smelled so good, and then I forgot to add the potato last night, so I chopped up a potato separately and boiled it a little bit to soften it. And then I added some frozen peas and carrots. I hope that all makes sense, but I'll try to write this down in a recipe. So I basically just used what I had on hand. The idea here is that I'm going to fill this casserole dish with this mixture, and that is already cooked, so I don't need to worry about cooking it. Then I'm going to be topping it with a pie crust like this, and this is a pre-bought pie crust because today is a busy day. Didn't have time to make my own. And you brush the pie crust with an egg wash. That's just simply the egg white there. And I baked it in the oven until the pie crust was done. And this was so good. We all loved this dish. It was really delicious, the flavors. I was actually pretty impressed with myself. So even though it didn't look that good, it was a bit rustic. I'm telling you, this was delicious and it made a lot. So this is my new beef pot pie recipe. If you enjoy my What's for Dinner videos, please give this video a thumbs up so I know to make more. As always, there will be library cards down below if you need to reference this video again, and I will have all of the recipes in my corresponding blog post. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Daily Connoisseur. Keep calm and remain classy, and I will see you next time. Bye!